Welcome to Music Matters Podcast with Darrell Craig Harris, talking about all things music with celebrities, artists, music business insiders, and more.
Travis Bolt, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So obviously you're in your car for those who can't see, but you're an East Texas guy, right?
Yeah. East Texas, born and raised. I still come back here every couple of weeks. I've got a place out here.
Where are you based these days? Are you based there? Are you based in Nashville or?
So kind of both. So I stay about half the month at my house in East Texas, and then I head up to our spot over there in Nashville on Music Row.
It seems like you kind of have to be there a little bit, especially as a newer artist. You got to be in town where everything is, right?
Oh yeah, I mean you got to be in the mix for sure.
Awesome, yeah. So you have a new album coming out, Burning Bridges. It comes out March 6th. You were just featured in People Magazine last week on January 26th for people that want to look it up. We're going to talk about that. And you have a new single and a new video out, Blues at My Funeral. I was checking that out, and the new album. It sounds great. So for people who haven't heard you, you have such a cool voice. It's sort of like a soulful rock and country. Is that a good description? I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. It's got the blues mixed in there. It's got the rock and roll, and it's got my country roots as well. So
who were some of your early influences as a young singer songwriter?
Oh man, I mean, even as a kid, I was listening to Ray LaMontagne. Amos Lee's. Jerry Jeff Walker, I was listening, obviously the prolific Texas guys, Rusty Weir, just all of the East Texas scene, and then, like I said, Amos Lee, Ray LaMontagne, a lot of the folky writers. And then I got into bluegrass and just kind of, so at a very young age, I was listening to some pretty advanced stuff. I feel like, Stevie Ray Vaughan, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's awesome too, because Texas, I mean, many people know, but Texas has such a rich musical history. Not only we all think of Stevie Ray, but obviously there's some legendary country guys, obviously, that are from Texas and different parts of Texas, because it's also very regional. When you got started, how old were you actually when you got started singing and songwriting? And talk a little bit about, because one of the things you mentioned in the People Magazine article is you're struggling with Tourettes, and that singing really helped you deal with that and kind of get over that in a way, right?
Yeah, so those two things actually go pretty hand in hand. I, when I was a kid, I was diagnosed with the Tourette's, and I can't remember how old. I always forget that off the top of my head. But I was very young, and I was just getting into music as well. And I was on a lot of the experimental medication for Tourette's. I went through the trial studies, and, the paid studies and things. And some of the medications would help a little bit, but they had crazy side effects. And what I found was that when I played music, I wasn't having as many tics, is what they call the little mess ups, the tics. I wouldn't have a bunch of them at all. So I think that's what drove me to playing music so much as a child. I was like, well, this is the best medicine I got, as cliche as that sounds. I don't have to worry about anything and just play music and not to worry about it. So very young though, I would say I started writing and performing more when I was in my late teens, getting out of high school. Everybody went to college. I went to honky tonkin', man. I got me a Suburban. I bought me a used Suburban and just hit the road with some speakers and my guitar,
Yeah. And I mean, out in Texas, and even still is the case, there's all these clubs around Texas that you can tour, and you could actually have an entire career playing in Texas only if you wanted to.
Oh, there's guys that do it. Yeah. I've made a great career out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. The story with Tourette's it's great that you're able to inspire people. I know you're involved in some of the causes and some of the events for that too, which we're going to get to in a little bit later, but so tell me about the story about getting to Nashville, getting your album, or getting your first record deal, all that story, because I mean that we always hear those stories, but this is a firsthand in-person account, because I know it's a struggle, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny how it went down. So I personally released a single of mine called Never Tried Cocaine onto DistroKid, which is, it's one of the things you can release music on as an independent. It's cheap. I think I paid $38. I can't remember how much it was at the time. It was a monthly thing. Uh, and it went viral over the course of probably 4 months. And I released an entire EP on there. That song just decided to be the one that went, and I had no idea it was going to be that one. So I had all these suits from Nashville hitting me up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, just trying to get a hold of me to tell me all these things they could do, these wonderful things, the selling me a dream type stuff. And I'm not an idiot. So I just didn't want to talk to none of them. It was exciting, but I was like, man, I'm out here paying my bills already. Unless you're handing me multi-million dollar, I could care less what you're doing, as long as my Wi-Fi's still on, And, well, Anthony, my manager now, he's like family. He is family, at this point. He was one of the ones reaching out to me, and just, he got lumped into the people I was ignoring for forever, and he was the only genuine one in there. And
it's hard to know who is real.
I know. And I left him on red for like 6 months, and that's kind of our joke now, but he was very persistent. And he finally messaged me one last time. I was like, man, I'd love to jump on the phone with you. I really believe in what you're doing. And that's the first person that told me that. Use that terminology, So I was like, man, I'm going to give this guy a call. We had about an hour and a half conversation on the phone while I was at the gym. And the next week, he flew me out to Nashville so we could meet in person, which is a big deal for me. I like shaking someone's hand, talking to him. I don't know. Very old school with that. And
right.
Well, we've been doing business and thriving ever since. We've been busting it out here. So I love my team, my label, Gravel Road, and now we're getting ready to release this album and get on the road.
Yeah, it takes a team, and like you said, I mean, there's so many. It's interesting too because you're so fortunate to be able to have a hit on your own and have a lot of interest on your own, and then that puts you in a great position because then you don't really necessarily need anybody. You want to make sure it's on your terms, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely part of it too. And when you're young and not well versed in the
corporate world and all that.
Yeah. Like the corporate side of it, I guess is the term. You want to be real careful. And they were very patient with me and helped me through understanding everything, Rich Barner's well, is like family. Milo, my co-manager, Lorenzo, everybody just helped me up to this point, and we're still helping each other. So it's just a great habitat to be in.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it definitely, like I said, it takes a village to make it happen. Because as you start having hits and doing that thing, it's like it's too much for one person to manage. Tell me about your songwriting, because it's very storytelling, and I know you've gone through some challenges in the last year or two, personally with divorce and some other things. But tell me about songwriting and how important that is to you.
The storytelling aspect of my songwriting really comes from the Texas scene. Like I said, growing up around being brought up into the Jerry Jeff Walker style of writing, the Billy Joe Schaefer, just all of that. That's what made me want to tell a story with my songs. Which I think is everyone's job, but in Texas, it's very heavily prevalent, where you get drug into like you're reading a book almost. And I like to show emotion in all my songs. And that's one of my strong points, is that I can really reflect an emotion on a crowd of people from what I'm singing because of the storytelling and also the performance. All of my songs have something to do with something that happened to me. There's a few fun ones, like 6 Shooter, like obviously right. That's just a fun song. That's also an emotion.
Yeah, it's okay to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I have some songs like that, but all of them come from a real place, whether I'm writing them myself or co-writing. I mean, anything that's on my album has something to do with my life. Like Coming Home, for instance, that was about my ex-wife leaving and coming back a few years later and trying to talk to me. And it was very hard for that to happen. I wrote a song about it that night and put it on this record.
Yeah. And songwriting's cathartic. It's like therapy in a way, right?
Oh, it is. Oh, absolutely. That's another reason it's a medication,
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So tell me about making Burning Bridges. There's a lot of great tracks on this album. And so you mentioned co-writers, but then also talk to us about recording the album, the producer.
Yeah, so that was actually the funnest part, man. Getting into a studio is fun. So shout out to Jason Burt, my producer, amazing guy, man. I love hanging out with him. We met through a mutual friend of mine, Paul Coffin, actually, and he wanted to work with me on an album, so we went with him. We went to Dallas, and I already had some songs kind of ready, and we started recording over at Modern Electric Studio in Dallas. Sorry about that. Had a blank. Recorded there, and then me and him really started hanging out and realized that, man, we could write together. So me and him actually co-wrote a few of the songs that are on the album as well. And he introduced me to some of his people along the way. You know, we flew back and forth to California, West Hollywood, Van Nuys to record some of this and write and people. So it was just a fun, probably 7 or 8 month project, bouncing around the country, recording these songs and writing them. And it really reflects, some of the ones we recorded in California have almost a California desert type sound to them. So it really reflects the location. It's just really neat, man. Like when people get to listen to this album when it drops, and they hear the story about how it came about, they're really going to hear those reflections.
Yeah, and it's nice to get new input, right? And getting some new kind of fuel for songwriting materials.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And who were some of the guys that played on this album? Were they LA guys? Were they Nashville guys?
We definitely had some Texas guys and some Austin, some LA guys as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the list of everybody in front of me here, but yeah, we definitely had. It was a big blend for sure. Writers as well, not just musicians.
Yeah, and California country has its own thing too, right? It
does. Yeah, a lot of tellies and steel guitars for sure.
It's very regional. It's interesting. You have the Bakersfield thing, the Southern California thing. So what do you have coming up? I know you're going to be I think you're going to be performing at Sundance Festival, right? Is that coming up for you?
Yeah, so we actually just did that. That was the Sundance Film Festival. We did an event there. Me and the band flew in from Nashville, and that was insane because of the storm that, the winter storm that flew across the country. All our flights were getting canceled. We got stuck there, had to fly to Sacramento and then to Nashville. It was just a mess, but we nailed that show. It was one of the funner ones we've done. Up next, I've got to pop over to Nashville this week for a few meetings and things, just to pop around. And then I fly to Georgia for a private event. And then in March, right ahead of the release, I'm partnered with the National Tourettes Association of America, and I will be flying to DC, actually. I've been invited to be a performer and speaker at the gala, the event they're having for that with all the senators and things for funding. So I forget the physical name of what that's called, but I will be at that, and I'm going to get to speak to, the younger generation that has Tourette's and let them know you can do anything, which is very important to me to say, because I was told as a kid by doctors and teachers I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, and here we are talking on the phone. So,
well, and speaking of that, what's some advice that you would give to younger artists, but also people dealing with Tourette's, especially children? Because obviously that's impacted your life. It impacts your songwriting. Talk a little bit about that.
It's as easy as it is to say as opposed to doing. I would say push through, because I was lucky growing up the way I was. I let stuff kind of run off my back. I didn't even care. Just brushed my shoulders off and went about it. Kids made fun of me. Teachers were hard on me. I just let it go. I was very happy, but I had a very good support system at home. I have 2 older sisters that would fight people, if they had to. So it was what it was. But if I could go back, and I've said this in a previous interview, if I could go back and tell my 10-year-old self what's happening now, it would have been so much easier for me, so that's what I want to do with the kids that have it. I can't go back and talk to my 10-year-old self, but I can talk to the younger generation now that has it and tell them, look, I'm getting to travel the world and play music and do what I love. And I've got Tourette's. It hasn't held me back a bit. It's
Right.
tough and you got to get through it, but it's not the end of the world. People are going to make fun of you. Go make money. Prove them wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you got to wake up every day on a mission to prove everybody wrong, right?
Yeah. And, you have to stay humble too. That's the biggest thing. No matter what you're doing, I've been taught that since I was a kid. You stay humble and, but you still want to tell some of those teachers that told you wouldn't do nothing that you might have just spent what they made in a year, so.
Yeah, I had that. I had that for music. My high school guidance counselor was like, you can't be a professional musician. I'm like, well, I've been doing it for 45 years, so I guess it worked out okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Have fun going to work. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. Like you said, prove them all wrong. Travis, tell people how they can find you and find upcoming tour dates and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I'm actually at travisboltmusic.com, and we're going to be adding all those tour dates for this year on there in the next couple of weeks, I believe. Getting all that geared up and ready to go for the album release. All of my music and happenings and things will be on Spotify, YouTube. Shout out to Spotify and YouTube Music, Amazon, iTunes, all of that. So it's on every major streaming platform. When all of this drops, it'll be on everything at the same time.
I think you're fixing to get very busy.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. And then Instagram for sure, Facebook, if you're getting on there to follow me, please do. And, hit the follow button, subscribe to my YouTube, all of that good stuff. Every bit of that helps get the message out. So,
yeah. And I should say, you mentioned Spotify because you have, I think it's over 300,000 followers or listeners a month, which is a great accomplishment, especially as an independent artist, but now obviously signed. I admire your work ethic. I admire the fact that you pushed through and didn't let anything stop you. That's really awesome. It's a great story.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a ride for sure, and we're far from done with it. So,
yeah, you're just beginning. Hey, have a great day, Travis. I'll put all your information, and also I'll put the studio name and all that stuff in the podcast release, so everybody can find you and make sure they check you out. Check out your new music as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Darrell.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day.
See you.
Thanks for joining us, and please consider subscribing to our podcast and follow us on our social media pages for guest announcements.